even people that are very thin, those eating unhealthy ingredients sooner or later will catch up because it no longer has to do with weight. It now has to do with health. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Myra from Low Carb Love. Now, most of you know I've lost over 100 pounds, and today I want to share with you the importance of oils and how they personally just destroyed my gut. And with that came a lot of negative side effects from losing my hair, losing a lot of hair. I'm talking about chunks falling out of my hair, getting super bloated. Yeah, my skin texture was changing. I had like blotches of, anyway, just like it was just a whole hot mess. So you hear a lot of people talk about seed oils and how they're unhealthy. And you're like, well, I eat them. I don't feel anything. What's the big deal? Well, I'll just share kind of like my personal experience with you, but seed oils are very inflammatory. And they really mess up your gut lining. And when it gets to a point where it's really bad, that's where you start experiencing a lot of those side effects where your stomach hurts after you eat, you get bloated after you, like where you can physically see your stomach puff out after you eat. So remember, everything stems from our gut health, like 70% of our immune system. So think about like your entire immune system, 70% of it actually lives in your gut. So whether your hair's falling out, you have acne, you have psoriasis, you have eczema, you have headaches, you have joint aches, all of that stems from your gut. Isn't that crazy? Like I never knew this until I started having issues myself, and then I started doing research, and that's how obviously little by little I learned all this stuff. But so with seed oils, I feel like a lot of people talk about the common like corn oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil. Like we all know that those are all like really inflammatory and we just should not be eating them. But there are a few that people don't talk about that are just as bad. One of them being sunflower oil. So sunflower oil is still very inflammatory to your gut. I don't know if it's worse than canola or soybean or any of the others, but I know that it is still inflammatory. Grapeseed oil. There's an oil called palm oil, which is also really bad. These are oils that don't really get a lot of attention on social, but they're also very inflammatory. Like let's just say there's this one dish that you're like, I cannot make that with olive oil. Like that just, it does not hit the same, you know? Like if it's one of those things, once in a while, if you do something like this, it's not going to be a big deal. But I'm talking about the oils that you use on a daily basis to fry your egg, to make some chips, to saute some this, to deep fry some chicken tenders, that's what I mean. Like things that the oils that you're using daily, that's where you really want to watch out for all of these oils. Now, I know that there are some companies that go out of their way to, let's say, use like organic cold pressed canola oil. Well, I'm sure that that's better, but it is still canola oil. So there is still going to be some type of reaction from your gut. When you keep damaging the gut lining, you keep damaging, and that comes from processed foods and junk food and, you know, all these foods that are out there that are just full of ingredients that you cannot pronounce. If you want to know a little bit more about leaky gut, let me know in the comments below. My sister had it. I have dealt with it to on a small level where, anyway, yeah, let me know. Comment down below, and then I can sit down and talk to you about why I ended up having to go get a bunch of lab work. I ended up having to go and get like allergy tests and stuff like that, and it all stemmed from my gut. But getting back to just like the oils, so I mentioned all of these that you should try to stay away from. The ones that if you've been following me for a while, you know the oils that I use, but in case you're new to my channel, the oils that I use daily are olive oil and avocado oil. So avocado oil has a very high smoking point. It's up to 500 degrees. Sometimes it's like 525. So you can really fry, like this is like deep frying oil. But that's what it's intended for. So it doesn't cause free radicals when it's heated up, no problems. There's gonna be no inflammation from it. And then you have the olive oil. So olive oil I also use to saute. And then of course you have the extra virgin olive oil, which is great to top for dressings, for salads, for dipping, things like that. And that's where you wanna use the extra virgin olive oil. And then there's also coconut oil. So there's the cold press. So the cold press coconut oil is the one that actually smells like coconut. Like if you smell it, it smells sweet and it smells very coconutty. And then you have the one that's more refined, and that one is it's almost very neutral. Like it smells neutral, and it also doesn't, it has like a neutral taste. I personally love liquid coconut oil that doesn't solidify, but of course it's slightly processed. I just try to get like an organic one. But for me, I feel like if I'm frying, I'm using avocado. If I'm sauteing, I'm using either avocado or olive. If I'm making dressings, I'm using extra virgin olive oil. If I'm baking, I'm using either avocado, olive, a light, but like the extra virgin, because some olive oils have a really robust taste. I don't like that. So that's why I typically go for the olive. So coconut oil is actually a great oil for baking. It has like a slight coconutty taste unless you do the refined, which then at that point it has a neutral taste. So you're good to go on that. And it's less expensive, and I feel like it does the job just as well. So, or I don't know if you know much about like actual fats, but there's also tallow, which is beef fat. There is duck fat. There's obviously like bacon fat, right? Like pork fat. So those are also other fats that are really healthy to cook in. At Whole Foods, they have a lot of, they're pretty pricey though, because they come from like really high quality fats that are like either pasture raised, humanely raised. If you didn't want to go the oil route, they do have those fats as well that are, really great to heat at a pretty high, they have a pretty high smoking point. And the smoking point is important. When you're cooking and then you see all the smoke come up, so that means that the heat is too high for that oil, and what's happening is it's creating free radicals. So that's one of the reasons why you don't want to fry in olive oil, because olive oil only, the smoking point is about 350 to 375, and if you're frying, it's going way above 375, and that's where you're going to just see the oil smoking, and it's gonna burn your food, not fully cook it, and then you don't want those free radicals. So if you're gonna fry, I suggest avocado. If you're gonna saute or do any cooking, you can do like the olive, and then for baking, you can use any of them, but you could also use the coconut. And trust me, I know it could be hard if you grew up eating like, peanut oil, because I know that's another one, and I don't have much information on peanut. So if you know about peanut oil, please let me know, or any oils that I didn't mention. I love going through your comments and reading informational stuff because, hey, I love learning too, but I know it's hard. I grew up eating masola, which is corn oil, which was the other one, vegetable oil, right? Like I grew up eating all this stuff. And so it's one of those things where you start making those changes now so that you don't have to deal with the consequences later. Because sooner or later, it all catches up. It really does. And it doesn't matter if you're not overweight. Trust me, this is not about an overweight situation. Like even people that are very thin, those eating unhealthy ingredients sooner or later will catch up, because it no longer has to do with weight. It now has to do with health. So anyway, I hope that this was really informational. I hope that it was helpful. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, and don't forget to hit the little bell notification so that you're reminded every time I post a video just like this one. If you have friends or family members that are living a low carb lifestyle, that are trying to make these healthier choices in their life but literally do not know where to start, please share my channel with them, share my recipes with them. If you have a family member that's diabetic, a lot of my recipes could be super helpful to them. But thank you so much for being here. I love you, and I will see you on my next video. Mwah.